Hello, and welcome to episode 61 of Living Well. Today, I'm Angela Moonen, and thank you for being here. Each week, we talk about how to align our lives and our work, our businesses, with leading through mindfulness, leading our lives with mindfulness, through resilience, and balancing our lives for greater harmony with our relationships, harmony in the work that we do, harmony with our money, our health and well-being, our body, and aligning our heart and mind so that they work together and support one another in any realm we are walking in. And whether you're a business owner or simply someone who wants to have a greater impact in their own lives, in their families' lives, this journey that we're talking about today is about going from great, good or great, I have a good life, I have a great life, or there are aspects of my life that are good or great, but not all of them, whatever they may be, to aspiring to have an exceptional life, or to extend exceptional experiences and exceptional service to those we are in service to, our patients, our customers, our clients, our community. So this journey of going from good or great to exceptional begins with something foundational. And that's what we're talking about today. So it's foundational, and it may seem simplistic on the surface, but it's profoundly powerful, transformative, and that is being impeccable with your word. Now, impeccable is not perfect, but it is intentional. So being impeccable with your word and honoring that. And I talk about this often. Words are they're a foundational aspect around that build the quality of our life, quality of our experiences, the quality of our work. Words, the way we experience life, is greatly dependent on the story we tell ourselves and the story that we tell others. Words are not just sounds or symbols on a page or a computer screen. They're powerful tools. They're magic that shape your reality, how you experience your reality, how you experience your relationships. They shape the work that you do in the world and the trust that you build with yourself and with others. So today we're going to talk about why words matter. I can't talk about this often enough. They're so important to me. Of course, this show is a reflection of the conversations we have, whether you're watching this live or recorded. The conversations we have are built on my own up close and personal experiences. It's the best thing I can share is what I'm going through, what I'm experiencing, in hopes that it helps guide you, your employees, or your family members, whoever you may share this with, some of these teachings and insights. So how to align your words for better storytelling and how that storytelling elevates your empathy, which in turn elevates your trust. All these things leading, again, to exceptional levels of experience in all arenas. How to align your words with your actions to build more authentic connections. I just had that conversation in length for a couple of hours, actually, with a client. The power of empathy, how many studies are going into that now, understanding someone else's position, leaning in, listening, really listening, to build more authentic connection and believability and trust. Finally, how being impeccable with your word, intentional, truthful, with integrity, can unlock extraordinary experiences in every area of your life. Now, I don't live in that place all the time. it's tough sometimes for all of us to live in that place all the time. That I don't know if that's the human experience. I suppose the more and more conscious and enlightened you become, sure, I guess that's possible. You know, that's not where I'm at. I'm somewhere in the middle. You know, I'm learning. I'm on my way. I'm becoming and understanding more and more the importance of impeccability with my word and aligning my words with the actions and the outcomes I desire. I use this phrase often, and if you're a friend, a colleague, a client, you know this. A rising tide lifts all boats. So the more impeccable and the more you can trust yourself, that impeccability of being your word helps you trust yourself more deeply. And people might flippantly say, oh, I trust myself. Do you? Because I'll tell you, if you break New Year's resolutions, you set a resolution, an intention, and you say you're going to stick to that resolution, and a week later, that's breaking your own word to yourself. So for those of us who want to flippantly just kind of immediately react and say, I trust myself. If there are people around you or in business, certain clients or just strangers in general, that you have a high level of mistrust, you distrust this, you're skeptical of that, which skepticism is a lack of trust and lack of belief and faith in something, an idea or someone, then if those things exist, which for most of us, mere human beings, they do, then this episode and what we have to talk about today and this practice of being impeccable with your word will help you. It'll make your life better. Trust me, it'll make your life better. More extraordinary, more exceptional, which is what we're all looking for at work and at home. So Don Miguel Ruiz, who is someone who I've followed for many, many years, he wrote the 4 agreements, and the 5th agreement, be impeccable with your word, speak with integrity, say only what you mean. That's where greatness transforms into something more meaningful. And I can guarantee you this, if you're a business owner, you may relate to this directly, but if you don't, step back for a second. Believe me when I tell you, your employees, the people who look to you for guidance, empowerment, inspiration, all of that leadership, they are looking for a more meaningful experience in their day-to-day interactions with their friends, with their family. It's part of the human condition to seek meaning. It's why we ask the question, why? Life's purpose. How many thousands of books have been written about life's purpose? And certainly, Simon Sinek's, asking why. All right, that's all to do with meaning and searching for more meaningful experiences in the micro moments, and those micro moments make up the whole. So where greatness transforms into something far more meaningful. I love that. It is being impeccable with your word, speaking with integrity, that you are aligned with, you truly believe the essence of what you're sharing, and that it's for the benefit. I'll go back to what I shared last week. Don't pass on your sorrow and your anger and your frustration to others. They have enough to deal with. You want to pass on your integrity, your impeccability, your truth, your essence that may positively impact someone else's life. Whether you know it or not, you just trust in that ripple effect. Let's start with here. Let's start with why words matter so much. It's not just the sound, although sound can be vitally healing and transformative. Yes. And there are many studies out about that now. But words, the actual formation of these sounds together with meaning, words are the threads. Let's look at them this way. They're the threads that weave our stories together. They're the bedrock of story, right? Words. And they weave our life together. how we communicate. Yes, body language is 75 to 80% of how we communicate, but our body language, okay, is expressing in ways that our thoughts are forming. So our thoughts are forming through words, through the language that we know. Those thoughts are expressing, and they manifest through the body and with what we speak. Yes? So think about it. Every belief you hold, everything you believe, every relationship you nurture, every goal you ever pursue in this life, all of it is built on language. Body language, yes. But language, how we express through words to one another and to ourselves and the world around us. Words shape your reality. They shape the inner dialogue, the inner conversation you're having with your heart and your head. They shape the way you speak to others, and ultimately the story that you project to the world. So you think words are important? Yeah, they're a cornerstone of everything. So let's look at this in a business context. Say you promise a client a particular deadline on something and then miss it. That's one little misalignment that damages the trust. Now, that might not be something quite as large as a broken promise about an entire project, or I don't know, something to do with an agreement that you've made with them and then you break it. You know, each one of those things chips away at trust. And the story that you support all of that with is vitally important. So here's the thing. If your words are unclear, if you are careless or out of alignment, like you're incongruent, I use that word, because I can feel when I'm incongruent. I can feel when I'm misaligned. It might manifest as a headache, acid reflux. Oh, I just got to go lay down. I'm so exhausted. That's misalignment. Sometimes, not all the time. So sometimes. Anxiety, frustration, that's all misalignment. So when you are misaligned, even if it's not overt, people feel it. They can feel that energetically from you. So when you are out of alignment, you're saying one thing, but doing another. There's that old saying, you know, it's actions speak louder than words. The combination of actions confirmed with words, or words confirmed then by actions, that closed looped, integrous relationship is powerful, exponentially beyond just the actions or beyond just the words, certainly. But to really trust in yourself, to trust your teammates that you rely on, to trust your spouse, your family, your clients, for you to trust others, you can only trust others as much as you can trust yourself. I can only drink the water if the water is in the glass, right? Or I can only share the water with someone else if there's water to share. So trust has to be nurtured, and that trust is nurtured from within to others. And the more trust you have with yourself, the more that can emanate. And I've experienced it directly in my life. So if you break a deadline, if you are misaligned, incongruent, you're saying one thing but doing something else, that all erodes the trust, the bedrock of every relationship. And so my grandmother used to say what you mean what you say. Say what you mean what you say. Say what you're going to do and do what you're going to say. You know, you can go through, be who you are in full integrity. Communicate clearly, honestly, in a meaningful way, even when difficult situations arrive, especially when the tough situations arise. Because when the tough situations arise, that's where we want to back out, right? We want to, oh, I know I'm saying about keeping my word and being integrous, but right now, I really think it'd be easier and less painful for me if I skirted maybe that a little bit. And I'm not going to say that I haven't been there. You know, we've all had tough conversations where we try to sugarcoat or we try to. Now, I'm not saying you have to blast somebody or be so direct that it's hurtful or painful or shocking in a way that's traumatic that doesn't maybe need to be. Okay, you want to use your heart, engage your heart and your head in those situations, but clearly and honestly, even in the tough situations, especially in the tough situations, building honesty into your relationships rooted in integrity, rooted in empathy. Being impeccable with your word doesn't mean being perfect, as I said earlier. It means being intentional and aligned with that intention, owning your commitments, taking responsibility for your words, being mindful, being present with the words you're using. If you recorded yourself for an entire day and then went back over that, how much of the words that you're using are empowering or passing on your wisdom and your energy and your love and your compassion and your empathy and positivity potentially, which is much more resourceful than negativity. Negativity is not empowering. By its very nature, it's disempowering. That's just, there's no way of getting around it. I'm not talking about pie in the sky and everything's always great. I'm burying my head in the sand and ignoring the difficult situation. No, I just addressed that a moment ago. It is owning that difficult situation. It's being your word. It's showing up and accepting responsibility and accountability for the commitments you've made to yourself. And I've broken commitments to myself. We all have. But can you work? Can you be mindful? That's what this every week is about. And that's why I'm here. That's why we're all here, is to work and transform ourselves into better and more complete of who we really naturally are. It's a clearing away of the not integrous stuff. It's a clearing away, a pruning, a taking away, a transmuting of a hard situation. Do we frame the story and use words that disempower or reinforce the negative aspects of that situation or circumstance? Or do we allow ourselves to be more resourceful, full of resource in that difficult situation? And the words you use to shape it are a reflection of your thoughts and your beliefs about that situation. And you can either transmute it and empower it and be more full of resource to resolve it and move it up and forward. Or the alternative is, don't be mindful with your words, be reckless, be thoughtless, be tuned out, unaware, and just throw up over everybody. Throw up on yourself. Sometimes it is necessary to purge yourself of that, but it's your responsibility as a growing, learning, loving human being who's working on pruning away the stuff that doesn't make you more whole and more impactful. You can choose to be unaware or be aware. And the more you become aware, that's what every week is about, raising and expanding our awareness. The more you raise and expand your awareness and the quality and impeccability of your words and your stories that are made up of those words, how you look at a situation, are you framing it in an empowering way? Are you do a scan, do an audit of the stories you're telling yourself, of the stories you're telling clients. 95% of all corporate communications that I audit, that I take a look at for clients, I, we, us, our, at so-and-so company, XYZ, fill in the blank. This is our, we do this. They put themselves as the hero. They put themselves at center stage. That is not empathetic. That is sorting by self. And oftentimes when we get in fear-based thinking, or we are unaware, we're disempowered, we're not resourceful, we're lacking resources, we go into attack mode and we look to blame others and point a finger elsewhere. We walk away or step back from our own accountability and impeccability. How does that help you? It's so short term. It's so shallow living and shallow feeling. You know, do the hard work. Do the hard work. And in truth, being truthful is so much easier than not. It takes more energy to frown. It takes more energy to infuse hatred or infuse retribution, revenge. All those things gobble up so much of your energy and are such a freaking waste of time. Such a waste of time. It might give you that instant, it's like putting a shot in your arm, you know? It's gone. A Monster energy drink is gone. How fast? It is so bad for you, right? Learn to cultivate your own energy. Learn to foster the electromagnetic forces that are pulsing through you, are the pulses of the universe. Nothing more powerful. Makes a Monster energy drink or any of those drinks or anything of that stuff, makes a cup of coffee, caffeine, all of that. It's paltry in its power by comparison to the power you already possess within you. You know the feeling. You know that feeling of things coursing through you when you're on top of the world and you're sharing your words and story in a passionate, fun, energized, empowering way. You know the difference. Most of us know the difference. So today, what we're talking about is live there more often. Become more exceptional in the words you choose. Being impeccable doesn't mean being perfect. It does mean being intentional. Words can inspire. I have a dream. Or look at some of the, depending on which side of the fence you're on, Monday, Martin Luther King Day, we inaugurated the 47th president, re-inaugurated our 45th president to our 47th president. And some people are so invigorated and inspired and want to aspire and want to lift their businesses, want to join together to realize this golden age that he speaks of. Words can inspire action, or they can instill doubt. They're never neutral. Words are never neutral. They always cause one thing or the other. Inspire, instill doubt. Inspire to move forward, to move up, to be bigger, to be better, to create exceptional experiences in your life. Or I'll pick the former every time I possibly can muster the energy to do so. Storytelling. Okay, we're at 25 minutes here. Tonight might be a little bit longer. I'm very passionate about this subject, so it might be a little longer than normal. Sorry. Storytelling. A beginning, a middle, and an end. Why are stories so important? Because they're wired into our DNA. From the early days of cavemen and women sitting around the fire, communicating through story with body language, etc. And their grunts, their groans, their tones of voice, their volume of voice, their eyes, the sounds they make. Those were stories. To the stories and hieroglyphics on the walls, to the stories in our holy texts in all religions, to stories in the movies, in great books and great novels, stories from inspirational speakers on stage, stories from Walt Disney and Pixar and the people who are masterful storytellers. Why do we resonate with those stories? The hero and the villain, the wise sage counselor, the jester, the funny, the comedic, the heroine, the hero, Superman, Wonder Woman. Why do we resonate with stories? Storytelling is a cornerstone of all communication. It's how we connect, how we relate, empathize, make sense of the world, remember, and make something richer, more fulfilling for us. Here's the catch. Every story that you create has a ripple effect inside of you and outside of you. And if you're like me or anything like me and have studied anything to do with quantum, you understand that that ripple effect goes across space and time to all things. And at a microcosm is a reflection of who you are as a mother, a father, a friend, a sister, a daughter, a son, a church member, a neighbor. How you conduct your life and the stories you tell yourself and others are an example of either inspiration or instilling doubt. Yeah. The stories you tell yourself shape your mindset, shape your world, while the stories you tell others shape their perception of you. And for example, in business, sharing a story of overcoming great odds, a great challenge for you as an entrepreneur, whatever it may be, makes you relatable. I get that. I've had that experience. Oh, I've had that happen to me too. It builds trust. Instead of saying, we're the best in the industry, we, us, our, I, we're so great. Look at all the products and services we have to offer. Aren't we magnificent? Tell a story that shows, that demonstrates how your actions aligned with your words, how you delivered on that promise, on that story. Tell that story in a way that shows how you solved something for a client or customer, patient. You made their lives better because you were a part of it. We're the best in the industry. Who cares? I don't believe you. Everybody thinks that. Prove it. Show me you mean that and that you live that and that you are impeccable with your word, that the words you say mean something because they translate in real form. Stories give context, they give emotion and motion to experiences, they give a meaning to facts, they give context to situations, both at work and at home. It's not just for business owners, it's how we lead our lives privately. It's for all of us. What stories are you telling yourself about your life? You heard some of the things that happened in my early childhood and up through my teenage and 20s. But you don't want to hear my suffering. People who really want to focus in on the suffering want a Me Too joining in the victimhood and the sadness and sorrow. And I'm not stating that sadness and sorrow and difficult and bad situations happen. Of course they do. Look at what's happened in California with the fires, the devastation. It's not real. That is a reality for some people. It's not a reality for me. I didn't live it. I have my own crosses to bear, right? But how are you looking at those stories? How are you sharing? And what are you passing on to others who are also suffering in their own way, with their own situations and circumstances and stories? Eckhart Tolle says suffering is a choice. Can you separate yourself from the circumstance and know that you are bigger? Know that you are more than what is happening and what you're seeing, and that your reaction to that, including the words and how you frame it in your inner story, your inner dialogue, and then how that is shared outward to narrative with others, that actually determines, hand to God, hand to universe, hand to Buddha, determines how quickly you move through that, what it does to impact more or less your life. Are you telling stories of empowerment and possibility? Are you sharing stories that create limitation, create doubt, stir fears and anxieties in others? Please do not live in that place. Or if you do, and we all step into it from time to time, we feel sorry for ourselves. Take that moment to say, yes, this is happening to me. Yes, this sucks. You know what, though? I'm going to learn from this. I'm moving through this. There is a gift here. And I understand I may not see it, know it, feel it right at this moment. What I do know for sure is I am my best resource. And how I approach this and allow for its impact determines everything. Here's an exercise for you, okay? And then we're going to wrap today. You're like, oh, I'm so glad. I hope, sometimes this probably comes across as preaching. It isn't. It is not preaching. It is, I'm very passionate about this, and I know I really know, and I continue to learn and deepen my knowing of how this works, the words you choose, the stories you tell, and the choices you make to stay in this story or move into a better, more empowering, resourceful, full of resource story. I know it firsthand. I don't know it all, but I do know this of what I'm talking about. Yeah. So here's an exercise for you, okay? I want you to reflect on a recent challenge, something maybe you're going through it right now. Instead of framing it as a failure or horrible or devastating, whatever it might be, even it could have just been as something as simple yet hurtful as a really bad argument with your beloved. Can you reframe it as a story of resilience, a story of learning, a story of muscle building, a story of growth, a story of contrast, understanding that contrast is there like weights in the gym to provide you with the opportunity to learn how to go with the flow and not resist and not rail at the moon, with anger and hatred. By shifting the narrative, you not only build trust with others, you deepen the trust with yourself. And that trust, both internal and external, is what paves the path to exceptional work, exceptional living, exceptional relationships, friendships, loves, exceptional creativity. Get truthful with yourself. Own the circumstance, own the situation, accept your role in it, and then take the reins of your story. Do not let the story mold you. Do not. You are the author. You get to decide. You get to choose. Always, 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 always. When you're impeccable with your word, I'm going to wrap here, I promise. You create that foundation of empathy and trust. Empathy. Empathy grows. It's like pouring fertilizer on the garden of your relationship or the team that you have in place. You know, deepening empathy with your team blooms forth such trust. And that trust, that connection, that uplifts others, it inspires others. Your willingness to understand, to walk with them, to metaphorically hold their hand, support them through the words you use with them. When your words are genuine and intentional, you know, it's not even just about what you say, it's how much you listen. When you listen with intention and then you use words to help shape more inspiration, it fosters a connection deeper than what you had before. And isn't that what we all seek? Trust. Trust begins with you. If you constantly break promises to yourself, saying that you're going to prioritize self-care, you know, you're going to get more sleep, you're going to hydrate more often, you're going to be impeccable more often with your words. When you break that promise to yourself, you break your internal trust and you take a step or 2 or 10 backwards. You erode your own self-trust. And again, your trust outward with others cannot be more than what you grant yourself, what you inherently have cultivated within yourself. When you don't trust yourself, it's that much harder to trust others. And I'm going to take exception here with something. I hear this often. You have to earn my trust. I hear that. People have to earn trust. That's someone who's coming from lack of trust. You don't have to, I don't believe you have to earn trust. You are granted trust. I grant you trust because I believe inherently in your goodness and that you are trustworthy. And that my level of trust for you, I'm not saying being foolhardy, but I'm saying that in most cases, I grant that trust. And it's up to you to retain it. Yeah. So how do you build trust? You speak honestly, kindly, but honestly. You know, I have some people in my life who are very frank and very direct and sometimes don't think about that kindness and gentility and just send a wrecking ball through your day. Yes, was it honest? Yeah, but it just was a sledgehammer when maybe you didn't need a sledgehammer. Maybe you needed a wrench or a slight tap, you see? Align your actions with your promises. Be your word. Say what you mean what you say what you're going to do, and do what you're going to say. And if you keep that practice up for yourself and for others, trust deepens, your quality of life deepens, and you move your life from good or great to exceptional. Exceptional. Most importantly, honor those commitments. You make a commitment to a client, you keep it, or a customer, you keep it. Now, the circumstances arise, do things, yes, but how you frame that, be upfront, own it. When something goes sideways, when something unintentional happens, and that's part of life, if it happens, own it. Be forthright about it and move through it more quickly. Do not avoid. Avoidance is, you know, the death toll for trust. Being impeccable with your word doesn't just improve relationships. It's a radical act of self-respect, self-dominion, self-leadership, self-control. When you lead yourself well, you inspire others to trust and follow you. We have so many leaders who do not lead themselves with impeccability. They do not hold themselves to the same standards they're asking of others. Do it for yourself, do it with yourself, and then others will more likely and rightfully follow and emulate your example, because it's worth emulating. A powerful quote from Brene Brown here that I have. Trust is built in very small moments. Every conversation, every promise kept, every kind word or harsh word. Yeah? Those are the moments where either trust is earned or eroded. The small moments, the small conversations on the day-to-days. Exceptional people and exceptional businesses don't overlook those micro moments. They make them a priority. They make them the example, the standard. Moments of truth. Moments of truth. So here's a final closing exercise. And thank you for staying with me for 42 minutes so far today. By the time we get done with this meditation or this exercise, it'll be another 5 minutes. I invite you to share this episode with others. If you know someone who owns a business, who maybe is having difficulty with their online reviews, with talent retention or talent acquisition, have them call me. Let me have a conversation with you, with them, about the work that we can do together to get you to exceptional. Follow my social media accounts. I appreciate that. I so appreciate that. It is growing, and that tells me it's one way that I affirm for me. It's audience feedback that I am having impact, that the things that I'm saying are resonating and maybe making, I hope, a difference in the quality of your life and work. I love your emails and texts and encouragement too. Everyone loves encouragement. I can provide it to myself. It's even better when others let that flow, and I let it flow into me, and I receive that. So I receive your love. I receive your attention, your affection, and I appreciate it. I truly, truly do. It feeds me, especially on the days when I have tougher days, and they happen. They happen. So let's close today's episode with a simple yet powerful exercise to help you align your words with your actions and strengthen trust in your life for greater exceptional experiences all around. Find a comfortable position if you're not in one already. If you're able to, just close your eyes. Take a nice breath in and out. The first step is to reflect. I want you to think of a promise that you've made to yourself recently. Maybe it's to hydrate more, sleep more, do a digital detox, get off your phone more. Better listener, whatever the promise might be, I want you to picture that in your mind right now and recall it. Get it ever present. Or maybe you'd like to make yourself a promise right now about being impeccable with your word. Recommit to it. Commit to it right now. Silently repeat the promise you wish to make to yourself. I, Angela, intend to get more sleep. Restful, meaningful sleep. And I promise to hold myself to that. Yeah, I trust myself to follow through on that. Really feel that. Feel it in your bones, in your blood, in your head, in your heart. Trust myself to follow through. Now I want you to extend that trust to someone else. Think of someone that you have in your life or at work that you want to deepen trust with. And imagine speaking directly to them with clarity, with kindness, with warmth and empathy. Picture yourself keeping your word to that person, to being impeccable with the words you choose to share with them. Through that, you are building and deepening that bond. Ultimately, gratitude. Be thankful, be appreciative, be grateful, for your own growth, for our time together here in this space, for the people and the clients and the employees that trust you and support you. And you in turn do that for them. Take one more deep breath in and out. Feel that promise within you and all around you. Open your eyes if you had your eyes closed. Remember that being impeccable with your word is a journey. Go easy on yourself, but hold yourself accountable. One step, one promise, one word, one moment of trust at a time. Thank you so much for joining me today. And the path from great to exceptional, I'm there with you. And it begins with telling yourself that it matters, that the words you choose matter. And if you are a business owner, I'd love to help you shape and shift and ripple that story out to as many as we possibly can together. The promises you keep, the stories you tell, the trust that you build both with yourself and with others leads you from great to exceptional. Take care of yourself until next week, and take care of each other for living well today. God bless.